So in this video, I have an important update for you in the case challenging California's restrictions on purchasing more than one handgun or rifle in a single month. So let's talk about this. But real quick before we jump into this video, if you think the state of California needs to stop violating our rights to keep and bear arms, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Also, I want to give a shout out to one of the main supporters of this channel, which is Blackout Coffee. Blackout Coffee has amazing coffee. They are huge Second Amendment supporters. If you're interested, you can use the link down in the details section. And if you use the code ARMSCHOLAR, you can get 10% off of your order. So like I said in the intro, in this video, we'll be talking about a case which challenges California's handgun and rifle purchase restrictions. The case we'll be talking about in this video is Nyguen v. Bonta. This case challenges the new California law, which prevents California residents from being able to purchase more than one handgun and or semi-automatic centerfire rifle within any 30-day period. Last July in California, a new law went into effect, which made it a misdemeanor if someone decides that they want to purchase a handgun legally through an FFL, and then also decides that they want to purchase maybe a semi-automatic centerfire rifle or even another handgun in that same 30-day period. So first, let's set the framework for what is going on in this case, and then let's talk about this lawsuit and the update I have for you. California law provides that all firearms transactions, sales, loans, and transfers must go through an FFL. So unlike many states, even private party transfers in the state of California must be performed through an FFL. California also expanded this to where all ammunition transactions must also go through an FFL, and there also a background check must be run on the ammunition. That means even purchasing ammunition online requires that the person send that ammunition to an FFL, where they will have to pay a transfer fee likely to that store for that transfer of the ammunition. Then a background check is run on that individual who is going to purchase the ammunition, and likely you're also going to have to pay a fee for that background check. This ammunition scheme is currently being challenged in a different case called Rody v. Bonta, which I've discussed heavily on this channel. If you're interested, you can find videos on that case on my channel if you just kind of do a quick search. But again, going even further, soon California will go beyond just firearms transactions, ammunition transactions, and they're even going to require that the sale of 80% lowers also go through an FFL. Essentially, the state of California has set up this scheme where all firearms transactions must go through a gun store or a qualifying FFL. Now, there are some caveats where maybe if someone possesses a COE and an FFL 03 in California, they can get around some of these requirements, but the average person, the average law-abiding gun owner in the state of California still has to adhere to these restrictions. Now, for a while, under California Penal Code Section 27535, subsection A, it stated that no person shall make an application to purchase more than one handgun within any 30-day period. So California had established law that an average law-abiding resident could only purchase one handgun in any 30-day period. But as we know, California is never satisfied with their restrictions. They always want to expand on their language. Therefore, a new law was passed which expanded that language from only applying to handguns to now applying to all semi-automatic centerfire rifles as well. So starting last year in July 1st of 2021, the new California law stated, a person shall not make an application to purchase more than one handgun or semi-automatic centerfire rifle within any 30-day period. So the California law shifted so that someone could not go into a gun store, try to purchase multiple handguns or semi-automatic centerfire rifles, i.e. ARs or AKs, during a single transaction, or even within the same 30-day period. Now, how is the state of California currently enforcing this? Well, they included language in it that said a violation of that law would result in a misdemeanor, so you could be charged with a misdemeanor criminal offense. Now, this didn't sit well with California residents and two-way advocates, so a lawsuit was filed by Firearms Policy Coalition in the Southern District of California. Now, this lawsuit alleges that the individual plaintiffs in this case are legally able to purchase and possess firearms, including handguns and semi-automatic centerfire rifles, but they are unconstitutionally barred from purchasing more than one in a 30-day period. The state of California had no rationale for barring the purchase of one or more handguns when they passed that original law that only applied to handguns, and also they had no additional rationale or evidence that they said that they needed to expand that language beyond handguns to also rifles as well. So originally there was no rationale for why they needed to restrict one handgun in 30 days. And then there was no evidence or rationale saying, well, that didn't work enough. We have all this evidence just showing that we need to increase it. They didn't have any of that evidence. They just decided to arbitrarily expand the language. And that is because these actions were simply arbitrary restrictions with the sole aim to have a chilling effect on the legal purchase and ownership of firearms within the state of California. The hope was of the state of California that if you make it so hard and impossible for a person to purchase firearms, that maybe less people will actually purchase them. For example, if someone walks into a gun store in California and wants to purchase a handgun for concealed carry, and maybe an AR for home defense, or maybe just an AR for fun or going to the range, that person will have to pick between those two firearms. And the likelihood is that the average person will not come back after 30 days. They'll say, I don't want to deal with this. I'm just going to purchase this one. Maybe they don't even purchase any of them just because of all the hassle and paperwork that we have to do, plus this additional restriction. Even more perplexing is that the state of California already has a 10-day waiting period on firearms purchases. The 10-day waiting period was implemented as a claimed need for a cooling off period when people purchase firearms. Well, the confusing thing is, if the 10-day waiting period is so good and that cooling off period is so needed, why then does the state of California need additional 30 days on a bar of purchasing more than one handgun or semi-automatic centerfire rifle? Also, when you take a look at these two laws together in conjunction, ultimately this leads to a 40-day bar on a second firearms purchase and possession, because once the 30-day clears, yes, you can go purchase that other firearm, but then you're going to have to wait an additional 10 days before you can actually take possession of it. Beyond just the impact on individual law-abiding residents in the state of California, there's also an impact on retailers. These retailers have the burden of having to track all these transactions and actually prevent these multiple transactions within 30 days. And because of all this, they are not only at risk of violating all of these laws and being shut down by the state of California, but also they are at risk of losing out on business, because no doubt have these retailers, multiple retailers in the state of California, run into people who go into a store and want to purchase maybe 2 handguns, maybe a handgun and a rifle. And because of this restriction of how it is, this person couldn't go and purchase one handgun and also an AR. They would have to wait for one of those. And the store could possibly hold one of these firearms for 30 days, but then they also have the whole requirement, and the burden is on them to actually have to store that firearm for 30 days for that person. So this is one of those laws where there is no rationale behind why this language is needed, other than to simply prevent people from purchasing and possessing something that the state of California doesn't like. Now, this case was originally filed in December of 2020, and the update I have for you guys is that the court has actually set a hearing date for this case. This case will be heard in the Southern District of California on May 6th, 2022. Now, generally, the Southern District of California has been favorable to Second Amendment issues. However, a majority of those cases actually came from one judge, which was Roger T. Benitez, or St. Benitez, and he is a judge that sits in the Southern District of California. This case is not being reviewed by that judge. It's not being reviewed by Judge Benitez. This case is being heard by William Hayes, who was appointed by George W. Bush, but sometimes we know that doesn't mean a lot, so take that for what it is. So this is an interesting case, and this would be a solid win to get rid of California's purchase restrictions. As always, this case could be impacted also by other Ninth Circuit cases that are challenging California laws. And of course, the Supreme Court's decision in the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association case could also impact this case. So depending on the timing of when all this plays out, this case could be impacted by that, but we will have to wait and see. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and comment down below, and I'll try to answer the best of my ability. Also, if you like this video and like support the channel, one of the best ways to do that is to like, comment, and subscribe. All those things help to fuel the algorithm, or fuel algorithm. It adds fuel to his jet, and it signals to YouTube that you guys see value in these videos and in this type of 2A news. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough for everybody who likes, comments, subscribes, who hits the notification bell, who shares these videos. You guys are directly impacting these videos, impacting this channel, and helping me to reach and educate more people than I could have ever thought. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. So as always, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and never forget to stay with Built by Armed Scholars, and stay with maintained by Armed Scholars.